The chamber of the Star Dominion Assembly was designed to inspire fear. It succeeded with most species. The hall was the size of a city plaza, its vaulted ceiling vanishing into darkness, illuminated only by floating glyphs of authority and conquest. Delegations from 100 conquered civilizations stood, or hovered, or coiled, at assigned platforms arranged in a perfect ring around the central dais. Each platform marked a world that had resisted and failed. At the very center stood High Executor Zalthares, a being of sharp angles and living obsidian skin, his 4 eyes glowing with ceremonial fury. He was the voice of the Dominion's will, the one who announced endings. Today, that ending was meant for Earth. A hush fell as the final delegation arrived. The human ambassador did not wear armor, ceremonial robes, or neural crowns like the others. He wore a slightly rumpled dark suit, a red tie loosened at the collar, and an expression that looked bored. Under one arm, he carried a folded newspaper. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. A few whispered in ultrasonic clicks or pheromonal pulses. Humans were new, unimpressive. A single-world species with no history of interstellar war worth mentioning. Zalthares raised a clawed hand, and the glyphs flared. Representative of Sol 3, the executor intoned, his voice echoing like a verdict. You stand before the Star Dominion at the final hour allotted to your species. The human adjusted his stance, glanced around the chamber, and nodded politely. Name's Daniel Harper, he said. Ambassador. Appreciate you fitting me into your schedule. The High Executor's eyes narrowed. You are summoned to receive the Dominion's ultimatum, Zalthares continued. Your world has violated sovereign expansion law by refusing annexation. You have interfered with Dominion resource extraction and destroyed 3 enforcement fleets. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Destroyed 3 fleets? Zalthares lifted his voice. By decree of the Dominion, humanity will submit its governments, militaries, and orbital assets within 1 planetary cycle. Failure to comply will result in planetary sterilization. The glyphs behind him ignited into images of burning worlds, oceans boiling, continents cracking, civilizations erased down to fossil layers. This is your final warning, Zalthares said. You may respond. The chamber waited for terror, for pleading, for the desperate bargaining all species eventually attempted. Daniel Harper sighed. Then casually he unfolded his newspaper. The sound of paper creasing echoed through the vast hall like an insult. He scanned the front page, nodded to himself, and muttered, Huh. Stock market's up. A wave of stunned silence followed. Zalthares' claws flexed. Human. This is not a forum for distraction. Oh, it's fine, Harper replied, folding the paper back under his arm. Just checking if today was a good day for bad news. Several delegates leaned forward. Are you mocking the Dominion? Zalthares demanded. Harper smiled, not wide, not cruel, just tired.
No, he said.
I'm evaluating it. Zalthares stepped forward, towering over the human. Your species stands on the brink of annihilation, and you respond with humor? Harper met the executor's gaze. Yeah, he said. That's usually how we know we're winning. A sharp hiss cut through the chamber. Zalthares straightened. Explain. Harper took a breath. Executor, we've received ultimatums before. Empires rise. Tell us how inevitable they are. Explain that resistance is illogical. He gestured vaguely around the chamber. You've got the decor to match. I'll give you that. The executor's eyes burned. But here's the thing, Harper continued. You don't scare us. A ripple of outrage surged. Zalthares slammed his staff into the dais, sending a shockwave through the hall. The Dominion has existed for 30,000 cycles. We have erased stars. We have broken gods. Harper nodded. Yeah, we read your brochure. The human reached into his jacket and tapped a small device. A hologram flared to life in the center of the chamber. It showed Earth. Then it zoomed out, and out, and out. The Dominion's border regions appeared, dozens of conquered systems, glowing obediently. Then red markers began to appear, one by one. Fleet formations, supply depots, communication relays, all marked offline. Zalthares froze. These are errors, he said.
Harper shook his head.
Those are last night's headlines. The hologram shifted, footage of Dominion warships tearing themselves apart as their own reactors overloaded, of orbital platforms falling silent, of occupied worlds erupting into rebellion as control grids failed simultaneously. How? One of the delegates whispered. Harper answered without looking. Turns out your command and control AI was really proud of itself. Centralized, elegant, efficient. He smiled faintly. We fed it a problem it couldn't solve. Zalthares snarled. You claim responsibility for Dominion system failures? Oh no, Harper said. You're still responsible. We just asked questions. The hologram zoomed in on a schematic of the Dominion strategic core. You built an empire on the assumption that no one would ever hit you everywhere at once, Harper said. Humans don't think like that. We assume everything breaks eventually. Zalthares took a step back. Even now, the executor said, voice strained, our core fleets remain intact. Your world is exposed. Harper finally unfolded the newspaper again and turned it so the chamber could see the headline. Seoul Defense Command confirms. Perimeter held. Counteroffensive complete. You sent your core fleets toward us, Harper said. We noticed. The hologram shifted again. It showed Earth's orbital space. Layer upon layer of defenses, structures hidden until activated, weapon platforms emerging from folded space, fleets that hadn't existed on any known registry. Human ships didn't look elegant. They looked brutal, functional, overbuilt. You expected us to fight like you, Harper said. We didn't. Zalthares' voice dropped to a whisper. You are a single world. Harper shrugged. We were. The hologram expanded, revealing dozens of systems lighting up around Seoul. Human colonies. Allied species, some of the very delegates standing in the chamber, now marked as liberated. We make friends, Harper said softly. You make subjects. A tremor ran through the assembly. Zalthares stared at the human, something like disbelief cracking his composure. You planned this, he said. Harper nodded. The moment you sent your first welcome fleet. The executor's claws trembled. Then why come here at all? Harper folded the newspaper neatly and placed it on the dais between them. Because empires don't fall when they're beaten, he said. They fall when everyone sees it happen. He looked around the chamber. At this moment, your worlds are deciding whether the Dominion still exists. This meeting? He gestured. This is for the history books. Zalthares straightened, summoning what remained of his authority. The Dominion will not surrender. Harper met his gaze evenly. Didn't ask you to. The human tapped his communicator. Across the chamber, screens ignited. Live feeds from Dominion space. The central star forge silent. The executor's command nexus dark. The Dominion banner being torn down on occupied worlds. A collective gasp swept through the assembly. Zalthares staggered. You cannot rule chaos, he said weakly. Harper shook his head. No, he agreed. We survive it. Silence fell, heavy, final.